Good morning. Thank you, Nigel. I've got an important announcement. Our arriving flight has arrived a little bit late, so we're going to have a bit of a late departure. We are running a little bit behind time. At the airport, we do value on-time performance, so I'll do our best to make up some time during the flight coming up. It was turbulence, apparently, according to air traffic control over here. Look, there are exciting times ahead at Adelaide Airport. Many of you would have heard about our terminal expansion, and I'll give you a little bit more detail about that in a moment. But last month, we had the opportunity to reflect on 20 years since Adelaide and Parafield airports were privatised. And it's probably worth a quick reminder to know that, in fact, we're a privately owned company by a number of superannuation funds. So as our business grows and gets stronger, the good news is so does your superannuation, which means that you'll fly more, which means that our business will do better. So it's a virtuous circle. But by any measure, the privatisation of Australia's major capital city airports has been an outstanding policy success. If we look across the country, we look at the investment that's taken place and the growth in capacity that has taken place and the growth in passenger numbers has really been a standout success and a good collaboration between the major airports and the major airlines in this country. But in Adelaide's context, back in 1998, as the operators or the new leaseholders of Adelaide Airport, we made a promise to deliver better facilities and attract more flights and more Australian and international destinations. And I think we can probably all remember the day that the terminal that we now have opened up and what a great sense of pride the state had at just what a fantastic facility that was, how it lifted our state pride, and we're very much mindful of the fact that what we do at the airport does represent a gateway to the state. It's an important part of the visitor economy, and we really do run that facility to do our best to showcase the very best in South Australia. However, back then, 20 years ago, our customers were still dodging puddles in the short-term car park and on the tarmac before they got onto their Qantas and their Ansett flight. Virgin Australia was 5 years away at that, or didn't even exist at that point in time, and Jetstar was 5 years away. And planning had just started for the new domestic terminal, which took 7 years from that point to deliver. So it does take a long time to get these sort of facilities up and going. In 1998, our total passenger numbers were 4 million. We're now 8 million. We did 230,000 international passengers. We're now going to hit 1 million this year. In 1998, we serviced 4 international destinations. We serve today direct 9 international destinations with one-stop connections to over 300 cities in the world. Imagine saying 20 years ago, I'm using my free airport Wi-Fi, I'm on my iPhone, I've just made a booking to get an Uber, having just stepped off of my China Southern flight direct from Guangzhou. 20 years ago, not one word in that sentence would have made any sense to anybody in this room. So imagine what the next 20 years are going to bring. It's not just our travellers who benefit from the investments and the facilities at the airport. It's the fact that more and more exporters are taking advantage of the international flights and the belly space in those international flights to those increasing 300 destinations around the world. Because to make an airline sustainable and successful, first you need the direct connections, but you also need the passengers on top. But most importantly, you need the freight in the belly, and it's the freight that makes the airline's case sustainable. The more we put freight into aircraft, the more sustainable they become, the more destinations that they can fly to, the greater connectivity our state gets. On the ground at the airport, we've invested about $630 million so far, and when you include infrastructure by some of our major customers, such as IKEA and Harbour Town, that figure's over $1 billion. We are a major job generator in South Australia. There are around 8,700 people that work in the airport precinct, a further 9,000 that work indirect, associated with business in the airport precinct. And the collective businesses at the airport contribute around about $2 billion or just over 2% of the gross state product, and it's growing. Importantly, we continue to work hand in hand with the state government in order to attract new airlines. We take a very strategic approach to the airlines that we talk to and market to around the world. We have a team that scours the world for marketing to those airlines that we think will grow business and not cannibalise our existing business. And we also work very hard with our existing airlines to help them grow their services. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing China Southern lift their services hopefully up to 5 a week and on a permanent basis, and maybe shift to a daily thereafter. We're also generating economic activity and opportunity through our property opportunities. 3 years ago we announced our airport vision for the airport business district, which included many component parts. One was a terminal expansion, the other was a hotel, and the other was the continued development of our properties at Adelaide Airport. And so it's really great to see that vision coming to life, and in recent times seeing some major companies announce that they're making Adelaide Airport Business District their new home, such as Oz Minerals, Kennards and Australian Clinical Laboratories. I'll move on to the video. We announced earlier this month that we'll embark on a $165 million expansion of the terminal. The principal deliverable out of this project is to improve and continue to remain and provide good service for our international departures and arrivals. I'm the first to admit that at times now, due to the way in which our international traffic has grown, that if we have some aircraft go off schedule, then our facility doesn't respond in the way that we want to and does not present the right image that we want to present at times. So we are investing in this project primarily to improve our international departure and our international arrivals experience. We're also taking the opportunity to put a few other very nice things in, such as expanded retail and dining options, fashion options, and some lounge facilities where Virgin Australia will relocate into a new lounge. It's the biggest infrastructure project that we've undertaken in the last 15 years at the airport, and our aim is to continue to provide a seamless and connected experience from the time that you drive into the airport until you depart on your aircraft. So in that video you saw a new taxi drop-off area, which is closer to the where you drive into the airport. That actual part of the project, which is what's on the slide there, will be delivered by the end of August, so that's getting us set up ready then to undertake the terminal expansion. We also showed some of the more operational aspects in that video, such as the outbound security and on arrivals the baggage claim area. We did that deliberately because they are two of our constraint points right now. Outbound security, but in particular, we only have one bag belt for 500,000 arriving international passengers now, and this project is designed around doubling that capacity and then allowing future-proofing to double it again as we need. So we should be able to stay ahead in that regard. I'll show you quickly just some renders. You saw this in the video. That's the enhanced retail offering as you walk through the security throat and look out to the right. That's what you'll see. And then if you look to the left, you'll see an expanded dining and retail option. This is a concept that we have, a South Australian providore shop where it will showcase the best in produce from South Australia, and moving on into some F&B. Principle being we're trying to open up the views and the vision out of the front of the terminal as much as we can, so that you can sit in a cafe, have a coffee and see your plane and know when it's ready to board, and bring all that light and those views even more so into the terminal. I'll talk briefly about the hotel and then wrap up. The Atura Hotel is well advanced in its construction. They will be opening in early September. It's the only hotel in Australia, in an airport in Australia, that will be seamlessly connected to the terminal. You don't cross any roads. You'll walk out from the checkout of the hotel and you'll check into your flight, and if we can bring those two activities closer together, we will do that as well. So we're well advanced in that project, and looking forward to that opening up early September. It will have great views out over the airport precinct and out over the city and the sea. I was up on the 6th floor of it this week, and it's got magnificent views. The rooms are nearing completion, so I encourage you, particularly for people coming in from the country, they will find this hotel an excellent facility because they'll be able to get in late at night and be able to be there at the airport ready for their departure first thing early in the morning. And the hotel will be open, and its facilities, restaurant and bar facilities, which are all down on the ground floor and open to the plaza, are available to everybody. So we're looking forward to seeing that open. And I think I'll close by saying that it's important that none of the developments that I've just mentioned we can do in isolation. It's not possible unless we have a robust economy and the support of a multitude of our shareholders and our stakeholders. It does take years of planning and consultation to get these things up and going. In fact, I often say, you know, the construction is the easiest bit. Once you've signed that construction contract and you're starting to break ground and build, you're dealing in sort of real actual problems, so you have to come up with real actual solutions. But it takes a long time to consult, negotiate, plan, and bring all of the stakeholders that are involved in large projects along, as many people in this room would know, having done it. But keeping to add facilities like this, keeping ourselves providing fit-for-purpose facilities and facilities that make it easy for airlines to operate in and out of Australia is an important part of continuing to attract new airlines. So thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to show you a little bit of what we're planning to do. Thank you.